The Cask of Amontillado is a short story written by Edgar Allan Poe. A short story is descended from the novel but limited in length and scope. It begins close to the height of action with only a small number of characters. Typically, a short story centers on a single occurrence and the characters develop in relation to their responses to said event.
The Cask of Amontillado by Edgar Allan Poe, an insight into the story. But when he ventured upon insult, I vowed revenge. The Cask of Amontillado is the narrator's account of his ability to carry out a chilling plot of revenge against his offender. Precision in time, place, and setting preclude the idea of risk and allow the narrator both the retribution he seeks and the impunity he demands. Montressor was a vintage wine collector who felt wronged and insulted by Fortunato, a wine connoisseur. Therefore, he secretly plotted murderous revenge while feigning friendship. Knowing Fortunato's pride in his expertise, he used the lure of the possibility of rare wine called Amontillado to draw the quack into his trap. Montressor brought him to the depths of the catacomb and intoxicated him, chained him to a wall, and built a brick wall to trap him inside, where he suffocated and died painfully.
Montressor waited until the carnival to spring his trap on Fortunato because he knew that during this period, definitely Fortunato would be drunk. Carnival basically means farewell to flesh and meat. In anticipation of the solemnity of Lent, the celebration of Carnival evolved. Participants engage in excessive and extreme behavior and merriment to bid farewell to meat eating. The Cask of Amontillado is set during the supreme madness of Carnival. In such a riotous atmosphere, it's easy to see how a crime could go unnoticed. Montressor led Fortunato from the carnage to the Palazzo. The Palazzo is basically a mansion. That's where the rich people in Italy lived. So Montressor led Fortunato to his own family's palazzo, the Montressor's family. The narrator plans for his revenge to take place in the catacombs beneath his estate. What are catacombs? At a certain point in European history, catacombs, underground burial chambers, became a viable alternative to cemeteries. Catacombs are characterized by extensive tunnels leading to chambers or recesses where the dead repose for eternity. The narrator of the Cask of Amontillado carries out his revenge within the catacombs beneath his personal palazzo. The narrator is able to lure his victim into the catacombs with the promise of Amontillado, a fine sherry wine. It did not seem strange to Fortunato to be led into the catacombs because wines were usually stored there. For wines to maintain their best qualities, they need to be stored at a fairly cool and constant temperature. During the time period in which the story is set, modern electric refrigeration was not available. To protect wine collections, connoisseurs adopted the practice of storing wines under the ground where temperatures remain ideal year-round. Basements, cellars, and even catacombs serve as excellent storage facilities for the precious vintages. Herein, where the wine bottles intermingle with the bones of the dead, the narrator carries out his plan for revenge.
The vaults are very damp and encrusted with nitre. They are also very large because this is where the dead bodies of family members are laid. Montressor reminds Fortunato that his family is very large. As they are walking, Montressor tells Fortunato to observe the white webwork which gleams from these cavern walls. He continues saying, "We pass through walls of piled bones with casks and puncheons intermingling." Casks and puncheons were used to store the wine, so the catacombs had several uses. We are below the river's bed. The drops of moisture trickle among the bones. Not only are the catacombs very large, they go down very deep below the surface. We passed through a range of low arches, descended, passed on, and descended again, arrived at a deep crypt in which the foulness of the air. As they go further down, the smell of the air changes and smells badly, indicating that perhaps there are other bodies that have been trapped in this part of the catacombs. This is a big clue that the Montressors do punish those who offend them.
In the Cask of Amontillado, there are many symbols used in this short story. Firstly, let's look at the title itself, the cask. It is symbolic of a casket with the root word being coffin, figuratively representing Fortunato's casket which leads to his intended doom. Secondly, there is the gesture outfit in which Fortunato wears. It is thought to be generally a fool's outfit. Interesting.
Thirdly, the mask Montrese puts on as he leads Fortunato to the palazzo. A black mask symbolizing hidden or even false friend. Then we have the Amontillado itself. It represents a rare attitude. Next, we have the family's crest for Montrese. It is supposedly the crest that symbolizes revenge. Interesting. Freemasons, worldwide fraternal organization. It is used as Montrese's gain of trust. A Mason is also a bricklayer. We see this when Montrese shows Fortunato his trowel, with the symbol which shows that he is actually a bricklayer. And lastly, we have the de Grave, a type of wine which also is symbolic for the grave.
Edgar Allan Poe, the author, not the narrator, of the story The Cask of Amontillado, develops characters whose sanity is questionable. He is universally credited as a significant contributor to the development of the short story as a literary genre.
Together with this short video, there is also a PowerPoint presentation. Be sure to check it out. Group 3 presents The Cask of Amontillado. Enjoy this literary journey into the dark side of revenge.